Steve, fantastic grand final last night. Have you had a sleepless night in terms of selection?
Well, first and foremost, a great grand final. I thought it was a real credit to Super League, and I know a lot of people were speaking about the NRL, the quality of that final a week ago, and the Super League has matched it this week. So that was tremendous for our game. But yeah, I think post that game, obviously you're waiting for medical reports, sort of just getting your final selections confirmed in your own head before you wake up and make the phone calls this morning. So yeah, it's been a long night, but yeah, we're really now in terms of selection and ready to go.
So you're pleased with the squad that's been selected?
Yeah, I am pleased. There's a lot of quality depth now within our game. We've got more players to choose from. Really happy with the group that we've managed to put together for this series. Some really established players who have been consistent for a long period of time at international level, along with some of our young talent again in the Super League, what has played very well this year.
8 uncapped players. What do you think they can bring to the party? Are they ready for battle?
Yeah, they are. I mean, a couple of those 8 have been on tour with us last year. Joe Burgess and Michael Cooper. They're uncapped, but they've had a lot of experience in terms of going on a tour. So I'm comfortable with that. The other 6, they've been part of our programs, and it's what we've built really strongly over the last few years is our pathway from under 18s, or under 16s to start with, through our under 18s. England Knights for a period of time there where we could get fixtures for that group. So this group of players are, there's some new faces in there, but they're not new to the environment and to the programme, which is really helpful for us. An example of that would be the under 18s tour in 2012 to Australia. Joe Burgess, George Williams, John Bateman, Ben Curry, all part of that tour, which was a great experience for them, a really tough environment to play in Australia. At that age group, came through it with flying colours, have progressed throughout the clubs now, and are back within the programme at the senior level.
What impressed you about those 4 in particular during that tour? Because you had the privilege of going out there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, it was really important for me to see that firsthand, to see those players in an uncomfortable environment, somewhere different. It's very familiar when you're at your own clubs and you get comfortable with that, and people progress, but once you take them outside of that comfort zone, which is what International Rugby League is about, it's not a comfortable place, it's a tough place. And you want to see the players who can flourish in that environment. And that's exactly what that under 18 tour did. It was tough. It was tough. The boys played well, they came out on the wrong side of it, and they learnt some harsh lessons, but the players that really stood up during that tournament, George Williams for one, I thought he was the standout, along with Ben Curry on that tour, but John Bateman captained that tour. And Joe Burgess actually played one of the test matches in that and got left out for the other test match. So again, he suffered the disappointment of being left out of the team and having to bounce back and come back from it. So really important aspect of our programme, and great to see those young men now fighting for places in the top senior team.
So as a coach and as part of your support team, how do you bring this group together in a short period of time to get them ready for this test series?
Yeah, look, like I said, they're very familiar with each other. So there's some new faces in there to the public, but within the group, these players know each other really well, and that's a really strong part of our programme at the minute is, well, let's be honest, they beat the hell out of each other last night, Leeds and Wigan, for example. But on Wednesday, when they come to St George's Park, they'll be together, they'll be one. They'll have that trust with each other, and I think that's what our programme has really helped us. Has helped us provide that platform for everybody else. So the biggest thing for us will be managing the players in the first few days of the camp and going into the France Test match week, because we've got players coming from different stages. Players who have obviously travelled from Australia, players who haven't played for a while, players who have played in the grand final, players who have had 1 week off. So they're all at slight different stages in terms of the physical and mental preparation. So our job as a whole staff is to make sure that we get the players for the France, to start the France week, all on the same page, all ready to go for that important test.
You've got 2 world-class fullbacks in Sam Tompkins and Zach Hardacre. There's been a lot of speculation and a lot of scrutiny, in particular in that position. Yep. Who's going to fill that number 1 spot?
It's a great question. It's going to be asked. It has been asked numerous times. It's going to be asked probably numerous times before we get to the first test. I'm just really pleased that we've got 2 players really pushing hard for a spot there. That's Sam. Look, he's been our number 1. He's been our first choice fullback, but he's now got pressure on from a different source, from Zach, who's performing very well. And again, Zach has been part of our group for a couple of years, and He's been in the programme. He's not played as many games as he would have liked, but he's now ready to go. So it's a great selection headache for myself. Both players can play in different positions, so we do have that luxury of that as well. But it's one that will work itself out literally as we move on over the next week. So.
And 4 half-backs as well, that's going to be quite interesting. There's a lot of competition for place in that area as well.
Yeah, there is. I looked at that in a lot of depth in terms of you know, what would be the right makeup of our 24-man squad, and we've obviously got 2 out-and-out hookers, you know, in Josh Hodgson and James Roby. Really comfortable with our selections there. But yeah, in Matty Smith, you know, Matty Smith, first and foremost, Matty was very good last year on tour. You know, he complemented Gareth with it really well. They got on extremely well on the field and off the field and created a good partnership. So that was always at the back of my mind with Matt. Luke Gale has had a very good season for Castleford. You know, I think you look at his back end of his season and the form that he's shown, and a team that's an unspectacular team without, you know, that's not taking anything away from Castleford there, but they're not one of the big 4 teams, and Luke has managed to hold his hand up and steer that team around and perform really well. So Luke deserves an opportunity with us. George Williams has been, for me, a sensation in the second half of the season. I think he's a real threat against any team in our competition and at international level as well. He'll be really developing into a really fine player. He's a good player now, but he'll actually develop over the next 12-18 months as well. And Gareth Widdop, obviously, he's a mainstay of our team right now, very important to everything that we do. So we've got four people who can play in those positions, and I want to see them all in camp. I want to see them together. I think they're the group that will steer us around the field now, and they're the group that will steer us around the field for the foreseeable future over the next couple of years.